Underground. They want us to go underground. Well, that's where I'm heading. By some means, I'll get there. By a spade, actually. It's a sunny day. In fact, there's still ice on the ponds, but the bees are flying. So that sums up this time of year, really. The ground is so wet, and I'm carrying huge quantities of clay on my Wellingtons as I'm digging, which I've been doing this morning again. Now it's just 1:15 midday on, let me think, Tuesday the 7th of March. I've been thinking about conspiracy. The word itself is it's like dog poo or something. It's and it's similar to flat Earth. In fact, it's ooh, don't touch it, go there, crazy conspiracy nut. But if you really look into the JFK assassination and you still believe the official story, then you are a moron. A total and complete moron who's given their minds to authority, who defer to anybody with a suit or a bunch of letters after their name, or somebody who stands behind a table in a lab with a white coat on. Now, okay, I'm not saying that we don't need people to do research, but what we need is are people who don't accept the bribe, or indeed will shout out if they are being blackmailed. I know that's a very difficult thing to do. Just look at Neil Armstrong after the moon landings. You know, obviously they didn't go to the moon, but the press conference just a few days later, if that doesn't sum up the demeanour of a lying twat, or a lying twat under pressure, or just somebody who's so disgusted with themselves. All three of them, Collins, Aldrin, Armstrong. Similarly, if you have looked into the moon landings and still believe the official story, give yourself 2 moron medals. I cannot. I don't believe these people exist, but they do. I just can't figure that out myself. I just cannot. When people are given the facts and they still come to the conclusion that, oh yeah, they went to the moon, even though obviously nothing can travel in a vacuum, especially not something that's rocket powered. Now the other like fairly large conspiracy is the fact that just let's say the Twin Towers, for one thing, collapsed into nothing. Where was all the steel? 500,000 tons of steel, and I could see maybe 300 or 400 tons the same day after they'd collapsed. And then the Building 7 thing, of course, in free fall. And if you understand anything about construction, or if you don't really need to understand anything about construction, just think of 4 corners that all go down at the same time. 4 corners of steel, not masonry, steel, that free fall. That is impossible. Impossible. I'll say it again. Impossible. So where does that leave your mainstream bullshit explanation? There were 7 bullets when JFK was assassinated, if he in fact was, but he probably was. But I don't know. But he disappeared from politics. Mind you, having half a brain. You fill in the rest of that sentence. So, 7 bullets from the open window of the book depository. Is that the right term? Some kind of library for the college, anyway. And there is Lee Harvey Oswald. Hell of a good shot, even from that distance, with that shit rifle that he had. I mean, it wasn't shit, but it wasn't the best. And he got 3 shots off in that short time. Now, this is all nonsense, of course. Look into it. Or are you sick of looking into? Oh, I haven't got time. I haven't got time. I haven't got time. I haven't got time. That is the most lame excuse. I haven't got time. But I've got time to watch EastEnders, and I've got time to watch Coronation Street, or any other bullshit soap, or the Kardashians, or I don't know. I can only remember certain programs, all the quiz shows, all that bollocks. Sometimes I remember certain scenes in films because they really hit home, and one of those is in the film that's called Time Bandits. And I can't remember whether this is the beginning or the end or both, but there's a little lad, and I think he's the sort of protagonist of the story. Actually, it's a long, long time since I've seen it. And he, of course, he teams up with the small people, dwarves or whatever they are, whatever they're called in that film. I can't remember, but I think he slips out of the door of his parents' house because they're too busy to have any attention for him, because they're too busy watching shit telly, game shows and shit like that. Now, I suggest that you get rid of your television set until the people who are broadcasting are radically changed, or removed, actually, and somebody who broadcasts truthful stuff, meaningful stuff, educational stuff, instead of all this bullshit about natural history. It's a great subject, one that I really enjoy, until they start saying, and this is obviously evolved into this. It's just such shit. Nothing's evolved into anything. If things were evolving, we'd find the evidence of that in the, well, you can call it the fossil record if you like. But we don't see that. We don't see a dog slowly becoming a cat. That's okay, that's a pretty bad example of species changing into another species, but that has never been witnessed in any kind of record. Therefore, it's bullshit. So, for me, all that patience that the cameraman, the camera crews must have to capture the wonderful events that happen in the natural world, all that time and effort, it's kind of been ruined. It's almost like they've just sprayed shit on it instead of producing a program where we could learn the truth. I know the truth is possibly a subjective term, but what is objective reality? When you see objective reality, you are seeing the truth. So when you see water that's level and can only be level, you are witnessing objective reality. And in all the natural history programs I've watched, and I've watched a great many of them, I didn't see the latest one, the Blue Earth 2 or whatever it's called, because I don't have a telly, for one, and the other reason is I can't bear the narrator talking about bullshit. But out of all that I've watched, I've never seen water curving over anything. Apart from maybe when a whale rises up from the deep and the water is running off the whale's back, then it looks curved. But that's in motion. And as soon as the whale emerges from the ocean, all the ocean around it is level. So how does it curve around a ball? The answer is it doesn't. So when somebody says conspiracy, that's my kettle boiling. One moment. And I'm back in the room. So when somebody says conspiracy, you should think, okay, I'll look into that. Not run a mile mentally or physically from that so-called conspiracy. I was trying to think of something that doesn't have a conspiracy attached to it. There'll be many things that I just I can't at this point in time think of one. Somebody once sent me a link to a light bulb conspiracy. Yeah, and and it's quite obvious, you know, that it's like the built to fail. Everything's built to fail. That's not a conspiracy. But we could, you know, people have said it is one. And, well, it depends how you look at a conspiracy. There is definitely a program in manufacture that allows a product to fail and has to be then replaced. That's a well-known fact. Just try and disprove it. And light bulbs are the same. Yet the person who sent me the link denies just about every other conspiracy. Strange that, isn't it? I can't work it out.